You ever have one of those great business ideas with a friend? You get excited, you shake on it, and you're ready to go? Well, what if I told you that in the eyes of the law, that simple handshake could be way more official than you think? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on what a business partnership really is, legally speaking, using the Civil Code as our map. Let's jump right in. Here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll nail down what a partnership actually is. Then we'll bust some common myths about it. We'll look at when you need to make things official, check out the different kinds you can form, and we'll wrap it all up with why these rules matter so much. So, let's paint a picture. Meet Alex and Ben. They've got this amazing idea for a mobile coffee cart. Alex has the cash to get started, and Ben, well, he's got this old cart and he makes a killer espresso. They agree to split the profits 50-50. Sounds simple, right? Well, whether they know it or not, they've just walked right into the world of partnership law. Okay, so let's get right down to it. What exactly did Alex and Ben just create with their coffee cart idea? The law has a very specific definition for this. You know, the crazy thing about this definition is how simple it is. The second Alex agreed to put in money, and Ben agreed to put in his cart, which is property, and his coffee-making skills, which is industry, all for a common business, all of the goal of splitting the profits, bam. They legally formed a partnership. They didn't need a fancy lawyer or a 20-page document for that first step. Their agreement was the contract. And this is where things get really interesting and honestly, pretty powerful. Their business, let's call it A&B Coffee, is now its own person in the eyes of the law. This is what's called juridical personality. It means A&B Coffee can own things, it can own money, it can sign contracts, all completely separate from Alex and Ben. This is a huge deal because it creates a shield between the business's debts and their own personal bank accounts. All right, but here's where so many people get tripped up. Just because you're working with someone doesn't automatically mean you're in a legal partnership. We got to clear the air on a few things that people think create a partnership but actually don't. So look at this list. The key thing to understand here is that context is everything. Just because you and a friend own a coffee cart together, that's not a partnership. And splitting the cash from the register at the end of the day, before paying for the coffee beans, that's not it either. The absolute make or break factor is the intention to be co-owners of a business and to divide the actual profits, what's left after all the bills are paid. So while a simple let's do it can kick things off, the law does step in with some formal rules, especially when things get a little more serious. Let's look at what it takes to really make it official. Now, this one's pretty much a no-brainer, but it's the bedrock of the whole thing. Alex and Ben's coffee cart? Totally legal. Obviously, the whole point of your business has to be, lawful. Okay, now here is a magic number you need to remember. 3,000 pesos. If the total value of everything put into the business, cash, equipment, you name it, is 3,000 pesos or more, your agreement has to be put in writing. And not just any writing, it has to be in a public instrument. That basically means you need to get it notarized. This isn't just busy work, it's about creating a public record that protects you, your partners, and anyone who does business with you. And if you think the law is picky about money, just wait till you get to real estate. Let's say Ben didn't just contribute a cart, but a little piece of land to operate on. The rules get incredibly strict. You have to follow these 4 steps to the letter. And if you miss even one, the law is absolutely brutal. The contract is void. Gone. It's like the partnership never even existed. You know, just like coffee, partnerships aren't all the same. They come in different flavors. And the type you choose or fall into has massive implications for what you're actually signing up for. So the 2 big categories here are universal and particular. A universal partnership is, wow, it's huge. It's like you and your partners are merging your entire financial lives into one giant pot. Everything you own goes in. On the other hand, Alex and Ben's coffee cart is a classic particular partnership. It's laser focused on one specific thing, running that cart. Everything else in their lives, their personal cars, their apartments, stays completely separate. So, we've gone through all these articles, all these rules. What's the bottom line? Why does any of this really matter? Well, it's all about building your dream on a solid foundation so it doesn't fall apart later. All right, let's recap the absolute must-knows. 1. A partnership is a real contract with real-world consequences, even if it starts with just a conversation. 2. That contract magically creates a new legal person, your business. 3. The moment you start dealing with significant money or real estate, you have to play by very specific, very strict rules. And 4,
Knowing if your partnership is particular or universal tells you exactly how much of your life you're putting on the line.
When you boil it all down, that's really what this is all about. These rules aren't designed to make your life harder. They're there to give you clarity and protection. A handshake can absolutely start a business, but it's the law that gives it a structure that protects your idea, your money, and maybe most importantly, your friendships. So, I want you to think about that project you're working on, that side hustle you've got going with a friend. After everything we've talked about, now that you know the rules, is your venture a partnership? Really makes you think, doesn't it?